Mark,
Oh, hey,
what are you
Paul.
reading?
I'm looking at this Night Terror preview that's in the back of all of the new releases this week.
I was too scared to read the letter. No, I'm just kidding. I did too. We should talk about that in Night Terrors overall and what it means for the DC lineup. So we'll do that right after we take a look at this. So before we get started, make sure that you are subscribed so that you're alerted, so that you know whenever we and hit the notification button so that you're alerted whenever we upload new content. Pretty much every Monday morning, right here, 10 o'clock a.m., we upload a new DC Comics deep dive. But just in case it happens to vary just a little bit, you want to know when the new one shows up. So hit the notification bell. Make sure you leave a comment because we're going to be doing something kind of a giveaway at the end of the Night Terrors as well. So we'll be talking about all that. And also, it helps us to basically know how we're doing. Tell us how you're doing. How do you think we're doing? Do you like what we're talking about? What else do you want to see us talk about? So all of those good things. Do all
It
those good
also
things
helps
before you
in
go away.
the eternal battle against the YouTube algorithm.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
war rages on. We're not relenting.
The struggle is real.
And quick reminder, that notification bell will help you know when we go live for the premier comic book game show this side of the Mississippi, which happens this coming Wednesday. Guess that key.
Exactly. We haven't been able to survey the other side of the Mississippi yet, but we think it's doing pretty well over there too.
Not important.
um, so, DC has their little summer thing that they got going on. It's called Night Terrors. We kind of got a first inkling of it a couple months ago. Let me bring that up for you so that you can. Boom, boom. There you go. Night Terrors. It is a Joshua Williamson creation. We got it, like I said, we got an inkling of it a couple of months ago when they were doing those ads in the for the Dawn of DC, and they listed all of those different titles that were coming along, and then someone was smart enough to kind of do a different lighting on one of the ads, and they were able to see the Night Terrors. Kind of logo that's there. That kind of has like that graveyard headstone engraving on it. And interesting enough, the only superhero symbol that is on Night Terrors is a bat. Because that's going to be important as we move through Night Terrors because of what happens later on. But again, Joshua Williamson is spearheading it. He's been spearheading just about every major DC thing that's come along in the past couple of years, starting with Dark Crisis, and then right into the Dawn of DC was his as well. And now this is part of Dawn of DC, but it's kind of Night Terrors. So it is a 2-month, almost kind of like a break in the series. Not every series will be taking a break, but probably a good 75 to 80% of their series will be taking a break to participate in this 2-issue kind of extravaganza. Which I know we have some thoughts about books that are taking a break, don't we?
Most certainly.
How do you feel about that, Mark?
I'm hurting. Like, this is very comparable to what we saw with Future State, where all running titles were put on. This is a terrible word for it, but it was put on hiatus to do the event. The event took over the main continuity of the universe, where there was no reason to write the main titles in sequence. At that point, you needed that time slot for the event. But where this is different than Future State, all the titles actually did stop in continuity because of the events of Death Metal that took place. It was actually continuity to have Future State. It was just like a 2-month look at that cause effect thing. And then we got back to the regular stuff with like a fresh start. This isn't that. This isn't a fresh start on the other end of this. We've already hit our fresh start hitting the Dawn of DC stuff. So we've started a lot of titles. We're a couple of issues in with Green Lantern. We're more than a couple in with Superman and other related titles. And all of those titles in the last pages these past weeks have been saying to be continued after Night Terrors. Now, some of these titles seamlessly moved into Night Terrors, where it felt like, okay, I should be excited because this is their story being told seamlessly, like in Green Lantern. They were flying a plane, Night Terror stuff started coming at them, and it said to be continued in Night Terrors. But unfortunately for the Superman fans that are just praising what ironically Joshua Williams is doing, there was no seamless transition. It was just said, we'll return in 2 months pretty much, So like having that feeling of excitement and that feeling of like momentum that we get with these titles, to know that that's getting interrupted really bums me out. So this Night Terror thing's better be primo. You know what I mean? It better be good if you're not going to want to have like a lot of backlash from the fans.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say is, it really has to knock it out of the park. Otherwise, any momentum that you had can be quickly lost when you do something like this, because people just say, you know what, I'll get back to it in 2 months, or maybe I won't get back to it. Maybe I'll get back to it in the trade paperback, or maybe, you know what, I just won't get back to it.
And what's unfortunate is this is happening in the middle of the first run on most of these titles. Green Lantern's ongoing, and it's the only one that we've seen so far seamlessly transition into Night Terrors. Other titles like Steelworks and stuff like that that's just going to be continued afterwards, those titles are contingent on sales to continue. They're only 6-issue miniseries unless the sales warrant an extension. So you're interrupting this book's potential with readers right now. Like that was bad marketing. This should have happened before the dawn of this should have taken us into Dawn of DC, or they should have done it later. They should have just shelved this. There's no reason to have done this event right now. We just had Dark Crisis. Like this should have been done at Halloween as a gimmick for Halloween. It would have been great.
I was gonna say this would have been a lot better if it had it in like October, November type time frame, or to your point, right at the end of a series like Dark Crisis before we hit all the new number ones again. It would have been great, and there might have been even more potential to have the end of Night Terrors kind of be a nice kickoff. For the series as well, as opposed to this, which is kind of feels like you're just kind of shoehorning it into something
it's a
that it really doesn't belong.
And I'm a huge fan of events. You'll never hear me say too many events, this and that. Like that's what comics are meant to be. These are like ongoing comics we're talking about here. Like it's been going for 80 years. Events are fun. It's part of what's enjoyable about them. But this is just so poorly placed. So poorly placed.
Yeah. And not every title, like I said, not every title is going to be involved, and we'll take a look at those in just a second. But and there will be some new number ones that are coming out as this is happening as well. Hawkgirl number 1 comes out this month as well. So again, they haven't done it to all; they've just done it to pretty much, for lack of a better term, they've pretty much done it to all the titles that people really want to read. It's what they're stopping, or at this point anyway.
And a few that I don't. There's definitely a few that I don't want to read.
Right.
But I'm going to read it.
Exactly, because I'm making you.
Yeah.
So at the back of just about every DC comic this past week, there was a 4-page preview, which I'm assuming are probably part of the first 4 pages, or some of the first 4 pages of the First Blood, the Night Terror's First Blood, where we see someone. Basically coming up upon the Hall of Justice, but it kind of looks like it did back at the end of Dark Crisis almost. Yeah. And we see him wandering, and he's talking about the fact that there's no one there anymore. They're not even the Justice League anymore. And it talks about that should he go inside, and he decides he does go inside. And as he goes inside, he sees some things, like he sees some things with he sees a picture on the wall. If you go back 1 page, of the Justice League, which incidentally this issue is drawn by Howard Porter. That picture on the wall, the third panel there as you go across the bottom, is the cover to JLA number 1, which was Grant Morrison and Howard Porter. So he's kind of making an homage to himself. And then that kind of comes alive. This person says he's looking for the Dreamstone, and that once he has it, he'll be able to rule once again. And the picture comes out and starts attacking him. And we see that now he's looking for the Nightmare Stone. So there's a Dream Stone and a Nightmare Stone, and pretty much these Night Terrors kind of overtake him, and that's pretty much where we leave off at the end of this particular really short kind of preview. So it seems to me as though the character here is Dr. Destiny. because in the solicits it says that the Justice League comes upon one of their oldest foes found dead in the Hall of Justice.
Which also leads us to some continuity questions as well, knowing that the Justice League is disbanded right now. And it's not like they're officially like closed the doors or anything. All of them just have a lot going on. And they recognize that to the point that like they're letting the Titans kind of be the response team right now. Like we all have a lot going on. We need y'all to be the response team kind of thing. But it's kind of interesting that this is our first look at the Justice League as the Justice League being the Justice League since issue 75 over a year ago now when they had the Dark Crisis stuff kick off that really sent them on their busy separate ways. So I'm wondering continuity wise, like this should be hard continuity, seeing how some of these titles lead into it directly and stuff. But we know that DC's been slowly tightening up continuity, and we've seen them doing like some massive efforts to do that, like in Action Comics 1050 and through Dark Crisis itself and the opening pages to Christopher Priest's Black Adam, where they're really place setting their titles now and putting them back in line. So this will be fun having like the first event that's in real-time continuity in a while, because Dark Crisis was an undetermined time not far from that kind of thing and this and that. So I'm interested to see that, because we do know that from spoilers that the Justice League should be returning before this year's up.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yep. Which I'm looking forward to. It'll be nice though to have the exactly, the Titans and the Justice League both back as prominent teams in the DCU. That'll just be phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm one of those good, bad, or indifferent. JLA is on the pool list kind of people.
Right. Exactly. Some of the other things that we got from some of the solicitations is we were told that we'll get a brand new villain called Insomniac. Or Insomnia,
yeah.
Insomnia.
Which we've already seen him inside of the pages of the Free Comic Book Day issue, which they teased in there.
Right. We know that some of the characters that'll be very prominent in this are Deadman.
Sandman.
What's that?
Sandman.
The Sandman, Wesley Dodds, which interestingly, I was going to bring that up because after they announced all of this and they announced that he's going to be part of this, they also announced that he's going to have a miniseries after this is over. So I can imagine that whatever happens here is going to springboard into his miniseries, I would assume.
Because, dude, we haven't seen him since like Doomsday Clock, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like he was in the Nut House in Doomsday Clock, wasn't he?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yes, he was. Yep. One of the more, so we have Deadman, we have Sandman, Batman is going to be, but we have Damian Wayne is supposed to be a huge part of this as well.
And the question.
Yes. Now, which question is it? That's the question.
Renee Montoya.
Okay.
Which they kind of they reminded us readers that, hey, remember Renee Montoya? Remember she's the question. You remember the question? They did that whole thing during Lazarus Planet. Mm-hmm. But I would love to get Vic Sage back. He's been AWOL since Jeff Lemire's Question Black Label title. The mini
and that was kind of almost, it was kind of set outside of continuity too. It seemed like it was kind of out there.
It could be. It couldn't. You could place it wherever you want, but it was Black Label that's determined to be outside of continuity. But it was cool what they did with it. Like because of the story, it kind of just makes rhyme or reason. As far as I know, he's still dead from the New 52. He died of cancer, right?
Yep, he did. Yep. So. All right, so here is the slide that gives Mark all sorts of heart problems. What is Night Terrors?
My ulcers are acting up again.
So Night Terrors is basically it's bookended by Night Terrors First Blood and Night Terrors Night's End. Then there are 4 comics proper that are called Night Terrors. All of those are written by Joshua Williamson. But then there will be 20. 2-0, as in one more than 19, one less than 21, different series, 2-issue series that will cover Night Terrors. And again, it's some of the ones that we know that have been running, like Action Comics and Catwoman and Detective Comics, Green Lantern, Harley Quinn, Nightwing, all those good ones. But then we have some other ones that are kind of thrown in here that we don't necessarily know about or I've heard about, or like we have Angel Breaker #1.
Ravager, Zatanna.
Ravager, exactly. So we have some other ones that are kind of thrown in there. Black Adam is continuing, even though his series did end.
Yeah, I was excited to see that, though. I'll be honest. That comes out this Tuesday. We have 5 Night Terror titles dropping this Tuesday outside of the main First Blood.
Yep, there's 5 every week. So what they're doing is
Christ.
there's 5 every week. They have so there's basically 6 issues dropping 3 of the 4 weeks, and then 5 issues dropping on the 4th week. So because you get Night Terror's First Blood in 5 issues, then you get Night Terror's in 5 issues, then you get 5 issues, then you get Night Terror's 2 in 5 issues, and then it repeats again. So there are basically just about 6 issues every single week that have Night Terrors. So which Mark right now is suffering day terrors. You can't see it, but I can.
If you thought you were going to be reading a variety of comics for the next few months, you thought wrong. Just night terrors, night terrors, night terrors.
Yeah, and I'm also like questioning. I mean, I guess. I mean, obviously I'll have to read it, but do people really want to see a Punchline 2-issue series?
No, I was talking to a good friend on the phone before doing this even, and a question that he asked me, just an in general question: when are they going to stop trying to make Punchline work because she's not enjoyable?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're determined. Since they took Harley Quinn away from Joker, they're determined to try to give him a new one. So, but yeah, I think I totally agree. Punchline has never really ever done it for me.
And we got a Ravager coming.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's because Joshua Williamson wrote the Robin run, and they explored Ravager a little bit, and they brought in Spoiler, and they killed Spoiler, or what was Respawn, and killed Respawn in the Shadow War thing. So I'm sure the Ravager is going to be, oh no, Respawn's a zombie, and it's Joshua Williamson stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's what it is.
And then some of the what they've talked about as being, what's going to be in some of the titles haven't really imbued a lot of confidence in me, like the Joker one.
Yeah,
he has a 40-hour a week job Monday through Friday, and that's his terror. And I'm like,
I don't care. Don't care.
Yeah, right. But we're gonna read it, so you don't have to. So again, I'm like with almost everything DC, I'm willing to give it a shot until they prove not. And but also
that's funny, Paul. We're actually willing to read it and just be sad. There's no until. Yeah. We're still going to read it.
Yeah. But I'm sure like everything, I will be much more excited about certain parts of it than others.
Yeah,
and hopefully the parts that get me really excited.
And once we get into it, I'm sure we'll be having fun no matter what. There's enough of it that if one of these titles is trash, we just laugh it off and keep on pushing.
Right. But one other thing is, I mentioned it at the beginning, is we will be doing a giveaway at the end of all of Night Terrors. So make sure that you are watching all of these. Make sure you're leaving comments. We may even be doing another live one at some point down the road. So
I was gonna say, we're going to do a live recap of the event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We will have some fun on that as well, and you'll get to offer your thoughts live. So, again, be watching. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know whenever these come along. Hit the subscribe button. But I think we've talked enough about the 4 pages so far that we have.
For sure. Leave a comment. Let us know what you're excited for in the Night Terror stuff. I want to know how many people that watch this will be picking up all of it, or are you just sticking to your regular pool list? Like if you pull Superman Night Terrors issue 1 is the next issue that goes in your pool box, unless your LCS is slipping.
Right.
So it doesn't affect your pool monthly. It just switches to Night Terror for 2 months.
Yeah, like you said, definitely want to hear what everyone feels about it, and if maybe you're looking forward to Punchline, and if so, that's great. That'll be out there for you. So
you're the problem.
You're the one. But that's gonna be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. As always, I am Paul. He
is Mark, but we
are Legion.
You're now leaving Sector 2815. Boom!
Wow.